was nobody, a man with no fame, no fancy agent, and no record deal. Yet, in 2007, from the corner of a cluttered cyber cafe in Manila, a voice broke through the noise of the internet and reached all the way to the heart of one of America's most iconic rock bands. Journey, the rock juggernaut that had dominated arenas in the 80s, was on life support. After decades of fame, loss, and longing for the magic of their golden era, they needed a miracle. And that miracle came in the form of a man who once slept on park benches and rationed crackers just to survive. But what led Neal Schon, Journey's founding guitarist, to sit alone one night watching YouTube clips of a Filipino cover band? Was he really searching for a voice, or trying to find a piece of the band's lost soul? What did he see in this unknown singer that others didn't? And could that discovery actually save Journey, or ruin it forever? There was a time when Journey didn't have to look for greatness. It lived on their stage. Back in 1973, Neal Schon and Greg Rowley, both fresh from Santana, founded Journey in San Francisco. At first, they were musicians, jazz fusion experimenters with sharp skills and small crowds. Critics respected them. The public? Not so much. That all changed in 1977. Enter Steve Perry. Discovered by Journey's then-manager Herbie Herbert, Perry was a struggling dreamer with a voice that sounded like it came straight from the heavens. And when the band heard him sing for the first time, everything stopped. The fire, the soul, the heartbreak. His voice didn't just elevate their sound, it transformed them into icons. By 1978, their album Infinity introduced the world to this new era. Hits like Lights.
When the lights go down in the city,
and Wheel in the Sky.
The wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
Weren't just radio songs, they were anthems. Journey evolved from art rock to arena legends, and Steve Perry's voice carried them like a comet. Then came Escape. Don't Stop Believin'.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling.
The kind of song that refuses to die. But behind the sold-out tours and platinum plaques, there was a storm brewing. Perry, often described as reclusive and deeply emotional, began withdrawing. Rumors whispered that he didn't like the spotlight, or the people sharing it with him. Was it ego? Was it exhaustion? Or was there something even deeper happening behind closed doors? Why did Steve Perry start pulling away from the very thing that made him a star? And did Journey know they were already watching their golden age slip through their fingers? The cracks were impossible to hide. Journey's Raised on Radio tour came and went. Steve Perry, emotionally drained and reportedly at odds with the band's direction, quietly walked away. No press conference, no drama, just silence. In the 1990s, fans got a taste of reunion with Trial by Fire, a surprise return that stirred old excitement. But fate wasn't done twisting the knife. Perry suffered a hip injury. Touring would require surgery. He refused. The band gave him a choice: get the surgery or step down. He stepped down. Journey tried to carry on. They brought in Steve Augeri, then Jeff Scott Soto, good singers, talented musicians. But something was missing. The magic, the soul, the mystery that made Journey, Journey. Fans were split. Ticket sales dipped. Critics rolled their eyes. Whispers began to surface online. Should they have just called it quits? Neal Schon didn't want to quit, but even he admitted they were losing the spark. And every replacement singer brought more comparisons, more backlash, and more questions they didn't want to answer. Had Journey become a tribute band to its own legacy? And was there even a singer alive who could reignite the flame that Perry left behind? Thousands of miles away in Manila, a man named Arnel Pineda was singing his heart out in bars most Americans would never see. Born into poverty in 1967, Arnel's life had been a cycle of loss, hunger, and heartbreak. After his mother died when he was just 13, he dropped out of school and lived on the streets, sleeping on park benches, collecting scrap metal to eat. He was a child soldier in a war against survival, but he had a weapon, his voice. From karaoke contests to small-time gigs in dive bars, Arnel poured every ounce of pain into every note. He joined bands like AMO and later The Zoo, performing for tiny crowds but leaving big impressions. Then one day, a friend uploaded his cover of Faithfully to YouTube.
Highway ride into the midnight sun.
It was raw, honest, and shockingly good. And thousands of miles away, Neal Schon clicked play. He watched that one video.
I was living for a dream, loving for
Then another.
we're just another piece of the puzzle, just another
Then another. He couldn't stop. Was it possible? Could this unknown man from the slums of Manila really channel the spirit of Steve Perry? Was Arnel the answer to Journey's prayers? Or would bringing in a total outsider destroy what little credibility the band had left? And how would fans react when they found out where he came from? It was just after midnight in Manila when Arnel Pineda opened his inbox and saw the message. At first, he laughed. Journey? The Journey? The band he grew up idolizing? Why would they email him? He was just a bar singer, a cover artist, a man who, not long ago, couldn't even afford a decent meal. He thought it was a scam. So did his friends. But as they read the message again and again, the truth began to sink in. It was real. Neal Schon had tracked down the man behind the YouTube uploads, gotten Arnel's email, and invited him to audition for the band. Not just to meet, not to record a demo, to fly halfway across the world and audition to front Journey. Arnel panicked. Could he really do it? Could someone who used to sleep on park benches now stand on the same stage where Steve Perry once made magic? What if he failed? Still, something deep inside told him this was the moment his whole life had been leading to. But would America accept a Filipino frontman for an all-American rock band? And what did the rest of the Journey members really think about taking this gamble? Arnel landed in San Francisco with a whirlwind of emotions: excitement, fear, disbelief. He barely spoke during the car ride to the hotel. He stared out the window, trying to remind himself that this wasn't a dream. But when he walked into that rehearsal studio and saw the band in person, reality hit hard. Jonathan Cain gave him a polite nod. Dean Castronovo smiled. Neal Schon was warm, but focused. They were watching, waiting. Arnel took a deep breath and opened his mouth to sing. What came out shocked them all. It was him, that same voice from YouTube, but more alive, more powerful, more human. He sang Open Arms, Faithfully, Separate Ways. By the time he finished, the room was silent, then erupting in applause. Neal Schon turned to the others and said, "This is it." But backstage, whispers grew louder. Some insiders felt Arnel was too green. Others worried about the backlash. Could Journey really survive the outrage if fans thought they were replacing Perry with a glorified karaoke singer? Would Arnel choke under pressure, or could he prove, on a world stage, that he wasn't just a copy, but the real thing? February 21st, 2008. Viña del Mar International Song Festival in Chile. 20,000 fans packed the arena. Millions more tuned in from across Latin America. And center stage, about to sing Separate Ways, stood a man who used to sell scrap metal to eat. Arnel was terrified. His hands were trembling. His breath was shallow. His mind was spinning with doubt. One wrong note, and his dream would be over before it began. Then the music started. He gripped the microphone and let go. His voice ripped through the crowd like a lightning bolt. It wasn't just powerful, it was electric. By the time the chorus hit, the audience was roaring. People who didn't even know who he was just minutes ago were screaming his name. Jonathan Cain later said the band looked at each other in disbelief. We'd found lightning in a bottle. But would one great performance be enough to win over the critics and the die-hard Perry loyalists who refused to believe anyone else could ever lead Journey? One performance wasn't enough. Not for the fans, not for the critics, not even for the band. They needed proof that Journey still had more to give. In June 2008, the band released Revelation, their first studio album with Arnel. It was a bold move. 10 brand new tracks, 12 re-recordings of classic Journey hits, a live concert DVD from their Vegas performance, and it was sold exclusively at Walmart. The risk paid off. Revelation debuted at number 1, 5 on the Billboard 200. In just a few days, it sold more than 336,000 copies. Within months, it went platinum. Fans, some skeptics just weeks before, lined up to buy tickets. The band launched a worldwide tour. From Denver to Tokyo, London to Manila, arenas once again lit up with energy. When Arnel returned to the Philippines for a sold-out homecoming concert, it was more than a performance. It was a revolution. The same streets he once slept on now cheered for him. But as the spotlight grew brighter, so did the shadows. Could Arnel survive the intensity of fame, or was the pressure starting to crack his armor? Even as Journey was reborn, a ghost followed them everywhere: Steve Perry. No matter how well Arnel performed, comparisons were constant. Some fans praised him as the savior of the band. Others dismissed him as a tribute act. Every missed high note, every strained vocal was dissected online. Whispers of discontent floated through fan forums. He's not Steve. He's trying too hard. He's just a karaoke singer. Arnel pushed on. Night after night, city after city, he gave everything. But the strain began to show. Vocal fatigue, emotional exhaustion, and most of all, self-doubt. In 2023, during the Rock in Rio festival, he missed some key high notes during Don't Stop Believin'. The video went viral. Critics pounced. Rumors swirled that he was preparing to quit the band. Arnel later admitted the thought had crossed his mind. Was this the beginning of the end? Or was there still another act in Arnel's incredible journey? Despite everything, despite the critics, the pressure, the ghost of Perry, Arnel stayed. He showed up again and again. Not because he wanted to be Steve Perry, but because he knew what it meant to be Arnel Pineda. To the world, he was Journey's lead singer. But to millions, especially those who had known struggle, poverty, and doubt, he was more than that. He was proof that a broken past didn't mean a broken future. Journey continued to tour, filling arenas across continents. New generations discovered their music, and standing front and center, wearing a smile lined with years of pain and pride, was Arnel. So did he replace Steve Perry? Number. He never tried to. He became something else, something just as powerful. Arnel Pineda didn't just find his voice. He became the voice of a second chance. He rose from the gutter to global stages, not because of luck, but because of grit, heart, and a voice that refused to be silenced. Journey may have started in San Francisco, but with Arnel, it found new meaning in Manila. It became global, human, real. And as the band's music plays on, one thing is clear. This isn't just a story about a band. It's about a man who never stopped believing. So, what's next for Arnel? Will Journey continue with him into the next era, or is there another twist in this unbelievable story waiting just around the corner? Stay tuned.